was never complacent, put my foot on the pavement. In my dream I was chasing, while my girl waited patient. Spent a lifetime on this music shit, going nowhere, I was losing it. She was right there enduring this, while her folks like, why she doing this? But Shawty didn't care what nobody said. She was gon' ride to the day I'm dead, stay by my side when the others fled. So I'm convinced that she deserves it all. She believed in me when chances were real small. I picture me driving a foreign. Shawty, she riding the passenger side. Yeah, 3 in the morning, holding her head up, yeah. There from the beginning. Oh, she was there from the beginning. Yeah, baby, you were there from the beginning. Yeah. Shawty my ride or die, and she is my reason why I keep on grinding to buy her expensive things that money can buy. Her beauty represents me well. She loves me and others can tell. Her heart is where my love would dwell. Talk about her man and she would rebel. I ain't ashamed, this ain't a game. She was right there in the storm and the rain. Endure the pain and the financial strain. Now she gon' shine with the fortune and fame. She gambled her life for me, she sacrificed for me. She deserves it all. It's only right, you see, no matter the price, you see. I picture me driving the foreign. Picture me driving a flying and now my history is changing. She's my day one and there is no rearranging. She's had my back through the times when things were straining. Now she benefit from every cent I'm gaining. Listen to what I'm saying. No dividing, no compromising. She gon' ride while I keep on climbing. Just recognize we gon' keep on thriving. She believe that I'll see greatness in due timing. I picture me driving the foreign. My shawty, she riding the passenger side. She riding the passenger side. 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Yeah. She was there from the beginning. She was there in the beginning. There in the beginning. You took me driving in the beginning.
Hey, let me say that over. I said, hey, are y'all riding to that beat right there? Ride to that beat right there. Now I ain't going for no bars or nothing like that, y'all. So y'all can forget about all of that. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. You are tuned into Malik's Truth. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in and hanging out with me this evening, because as I say always, you could have been somewhere else, but you decided to spend some time with your brother Malik Truth. So I want to send my appreciations out to you. Before I get started on any show, I always give thanks to God for giving me the talents to give to you guys to help you out through your relationship trials and tribulations. I'm also going to give thanks to BU Radio, a platform that is exciting, that's wonderful, that's bringing brilliance, that's bringing uniqueness. So this is BU Radio. All right, I'm going to give shots out to my BU Radio colleagues. We're going to start with, since she's standing right here in the building, Miss Shannon, the queen of comedy right here in Vegas with her tall, leggy self. Gone girl. She has my producer, that's my producer. And then we have Wong and Naya 215 on the Wong channel. Then we have our sister Amber Jones with Key Talk Tuesday. Then we have our lovely sister Linja Zanes, who has a wonderful book out called Beat the Odds from A to Z, who has her shows early in the morning, and it's called Bet on Yourself. Then we have our brother John Kirkley, and he has his show called Living Your Best Life. Then we have our sister Brenda Brown with Sauced in the City on Fridays. And we have me here every Wednesday. And when is Braids and Beauty on Natrell? What's that? Mondays at 1. So find Braids and Beauty Mondays at 1. So we want to give kudos to everybody who is giving of themselves and providing services, information to you guys, our faithful listeners out there. So thank you very much. Last week, we had a wonderful show, and it was requested not only by the guests, but by several other folks that they wanted to hear more of the content of Family First Millennial Generation. They wanted to understand what is going on with the family situation and the millennial situation. There are so many things that have come up throughout the generations. Generations have changed. It has changed from a 2-household family to a 1-household family, foster situations, adoption, everything is going on besides the original build up and the original makeup of family. Now, according to my studies and also my opinion, I believe that the situation with family has eroded over the courses of each decade and each era, as a matter of fact. In my book, The Design, Date, and Purpose, I talk about understanding past, present, and future as it relates to how that erosion began to start. Now, in my book, I talk about the lost generation. This is a generation that was born between 1883 to the late 1930s. And my grandmama, she was born in 1925. Okay, and this is a coming of age during the World War I. This generation navigated through courting because the value of family was instilled in them, and the hierarchy of father and mother present in unity was a visual dynamic, not something that's theoretic. It was a visual dynamic. Okay, courting in the lost generation entailed the process of the male gaining the trust of the female with intentions to convince her that he was suitable and decent to spend time with and to one day marry. Nowadays, it's kind of like suitable for smashing. Is he worth my time getting in bed with, not spending my life with, raising a family with? Now, the male in that era was taught by his parents how he should conduct himself while with a lady. This would be opening the doors, paying for the meals, being considerate, telling her how pretty she looks, protecting her while they're out, holding her hand. When you're walking in the street, you know that you're going to stand on the outside where the cars are coming. She's going to be on the inside. So if anybody going to be getting hit, it's going to be you. I know a lot of y'all men like, no, I don't love her like that right now, so I ain't trying to get hit. But yeah, that was the dynamic. So his mother taught him gentle sides of a woman. His mother encouraged him to seek a chaste, domestic, family-oriented, driven, and strong type of woman. She taught him how to be a friend to his wife and the gentleness and dedication that a man should have towards his wife. The father taught him how to be equitable in his authority over his household and how to become hardworking and smart while he was providing for his wife, while being a husband, a father, and a protector. Now, on the flip side, the female was taught to be docile, subservient, supportive, and enterprising when necessary. The mother taught her how to focus on the characteristics in a man that exemplified husband qualities. She was taught to be a wife and a mother by all the women in her household. She was taught the responsibilities and the importance of remaining chaste. Chaste, that means stay a virgin. Don't be giving it up so easy. Or not at all. But we know that dynamic has changed. But she was taught the responsibilities and the importance of remaining chaste. And even kissing was a taboo. Just kissing was a taboo. And some of them was scared their daughters to say kissing to get you pregnant. I mean, that ain't right, but you know, they did whatever it took to keep that little girl chaste. You know what I'm saying? So the women of this time weren't generally or typically breadwinners like they are today. They weren't career or business established, many of them. And their dependence was on their husband. The woman was being courted and had to be confident in knowing that the man that was courting her and that the man that was interested in her was able to provide for her the same or a better lifestyle than she was coming from. Now, this is some real stuff right here. Now, I know a lot of y'all are saying, well, I wasn't taught that. Well, my mama this and my mama that. I didn't have my daddy around. Well, you know what? Those things happen in life, and I empathize with you. But as Lynn Jazame says, that our traumas should not make up who we become. And we have to figure out what those traumas are and those situations are. So let me tell you what she says about that. Everything that affects us in a negative way is part of our trauma and part of the things that we need to heal in our life. And Lynn Jazame says that healing is a choice. You can wake up to your future, or you can live in your past. You can say to yourself continually, my mama, my daddy didn't teach me that. Or you can say, let me open up my mind and learn how to become the man that I should be. Let me learn how to become the husband that I should become. So it's your future, Lynn Jazame says. It's your future, and you want to pull that towards you and you want to grow from it, or you can hang on to your past and all those excuses and go nowhere. You want to go somewhere, y'all. And we are here today with my guests, Tracy Jasper and Troy the Biz Trap. And they are a young millennial couple, and they're living perfectly in their imperfections, knowing that they have the opportunity every day to grow as individuals within that relationship and to grow as a combination within that relationship, holding down a business and a family. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guests to y'all. Come on in, y'all.
Having us back.
Oh, you got it. You got it. You got it.
Yes, this is a very important subject. I'm ready to get into.
We're ready to get into that subject. So those who may not have tuned in last week or tuning in now, Tracy, tell them a little bit about you.
I am a paraprofessional for our school district here in Las Vegas. I'm also the CEO of Tinkerbird, which is a girls apparel and accessories brand offering something new, something special, something cute for girls. Yes.
And Troy, your turn.
What up, family? My name is Troy. I'm a co-owner of Tinkerbird, where we offer girls accessory and apparel. Also have a YouTube channel called The Biz Trap, where we highlight businesses and get the story behind the brand.
Yes, and we're going to get into that a little later on the second half of the show, but we are going to tear the airwaves up with education and information. The goal of this show is to be able to provide you with enough information to help you want to become encouraged to find the resiliency and the greatness that is within you individually, so you can learn how to use that to become a better person preparing for marriage. Stop preparing yourself for the squash or the smash and dash. Let's make it longer than that. So Tracy and Troy, let's tell them how you guys met.
We met in college. That's a safe story to tell. We met in college.
That's a safe story to tell. You
It
know what?
is.
This Malik's truth. I don't want the safe story. They need to know they need to know the risque story. What's the risque story? Forget all that safeness.
That's the risque story.
Okay.
That's the story.
That's the safe
Yeah.
story.
Also, I just turned 20 at the time, or 19. I just turned 19 at the time.
Right.
And Troy is actually 9 years older than I am.
What?
Yes, he is. And so
Cradle robber. I'm calling the police. Let me stop. That's all right.
And he also had 2 children. And so that's what I signed up for, as well as him
Right.
signing up with.
I like that.
My
I like the way you said
baggage.
that.
Yeah.
That's what you signed. You knew
Yeah.
what you
yeah.
were in for.
I
Okay.
did at 19.
Wow, that's awesome. So when you met and you found out that he had children of his own, was it a prerogative of yours to find out what type of dad he was?
Absolutely, for
Okay.
sure. What type of dad he was, what type of man he is now, and that he was looking to be, being that we met in college. He was enrolling at the time when we met, and so just getting to know, obviously, his background and where he wanted to go.
Absolutely. And they say that women mature quicker than men anyway. So in knowing that he had 9 years on you, would you say he was like safely catching up to you mentally?
Oh man.
Now, remember, this is Malik's truth. Don't hold it back.
I think the feelings were mutual. I think things happen in our relationship where Troy was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot she 9 years younger than me,"
Right.
And so sure, I'm mature, and things would only come out when there was an issue, like, "Oh, I forgot she's
Right.
9 years younger than me." So you have those differences, of course,
Yes.
with that age difference.
Yes, you will.
Right.
You're gonna have different perspectives. What do you say about that, Troy? What's your story?
It was challenging, but it was good though. It was fun watching her grow, and even today, just to see her as the beautiful, intelligent woman that she is today.
Yeah, come on now. Say
I
that.
feel
Say that
like-
one more time. You about to make the girls' hearts melt out there.
Watching her grow and blossom into who she is today.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And that's the kind of love that men should continue to have for their women, Troy. In private, we gonna do our little freaky dicky thing, of course. But for us to be able to say out in public the things that men don't want to say, which is, my wife is beautiful, my wife is intelligent, I appreciate this woman, I appreciate how she is helping me to become better as a person. Let's go into some of these comments here. Okay, well, there's a lot of folks out here. Chrissy Renee is just cheering you on, Tracy. She's like, come on. That's important.
Thank you, Christine.
For real. She said, hey, finally, y'all, I'm here out of Facebook jail, joining Malik's show. Come on now, Chrissy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hey, look, I tried your commissary, but Facebook turned it down. They said I couldn't do it. John Kirkley, what's going on, brother? What's going on? So Troy, he says. So Troy, watching her bloom.
Right.
Answer that for him.
Yeah, it was a time. I mean, and I believe it's still a time of teaching. I teach her things, she teach me things. We learn from each other. But in the beginning, it was, just like any relationship, we started to learn each other and just getting to know each other, just period. And then the age difference, pretty much, it stood out in certain situations, certain conversations. But we worked through it though.
Yes, that's the importance of being able to work through it. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, all right, they worked through it. But how did you work through it? What was the formula that you used, Troy, and that you accepted, Tracy, or that you used, Tracy, and that you accepted, Troy, that helped you guys through that?
Patience and communication. Being patient and getting out of myself, getting out of my own head, and starting to open up and see things from a different perspective. Because a lot of times as men, we tend to be headstrong and see things our way, want things our way, and we forget that we're dealing with another human being.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the factor of understanding how a man should be taught or how a man should be exemplifying these qualities, I remember you and I were talking while I was driving through a particular restaurant. I ain't gonna name them because they ain't sponsoring the show, but I was driving through a particular restaurant and we were having a real deep discussion, and you said something to the effect of those qualities of being a husband should be before you say I do. Explain that to the listeners.
Really is being in it, being all in it before any vows or paperwork or any ceremony. You have to be all in it before you get to that point, because if you're not, then you go through these things and you go through the rocky road, and you tend to bend and break, right? And the relationship don't last because you weren't completely invested and you haven't been through those trials and tribulations. So you have to be that before you even get married. You have to be a wife before you get married. Come on, Troy, you better tell them that again. Say that again. You have to be a wife. You have to conduct yourself as a wife. You have to conduct yourself as a husband. Yes, sir. Before you even get married, you have to live in that.
And how can we teach these young brothers today? These young brothers that's 28 to 35. You know what I'm saying? How can we teach them things that they haven't been taught when they were kids? Is it an impossible task?
No. It's not impossible. It's leading by example. Right. A lot. That's what we miss. We miss the example. And right now, I believe a lot of young guys are stepping up and are being there with their families. I'm not gonna say all the young guys are just running out and just hitting a lot of women and just saying forget it. There are people out there who are looking for love, looking to be with someone, and looking to settle down and raise a family.
Absolutely.
But growing up, due to the lack of the example, we have bounced around. We have ruined a lot of relationships. But I think a lot of young guys we starting to see it. A lot of young guys are seeing it and realizing the mistake that was made in the past. Okay. And right now, not everybody, but a lot of young guys are trying to bring it in and correct it.
Right. And at least we can say, with regards to the statistics are saying that between 70 to 80% of the millennials are not getting married. So at least we know that at least 20 to 30% are.
Yes.
Right. I don't know how accurate this
likewise
the stats are,
but we just want to.
Yeah.
If we would just take it for surface value.
Yeah, because a lot of us grew up without a dad.
Yes, sir.
And growing up, you miss out on a lot. And our dads grew up without a dad. So I think right now millennials are trying to, bring it back in,
find their way, so to speak.
Yeah, we're trying to bring it back in and find their way and make things right, correct the wrong.
I like that, and I think it's information sessions like this. You think, Tracy, that helps us to be able to instill in these young women and men how to become, not just how to just become, but how to begin to behave as a wife within the relationship. You don't become a wife when you say I do.
No, I unfortunately, I'm someone who can admit the truth to myself and accept responsibility, no matter how harsh the reality is. And so I knew coming into the relationship that maybe I wasn't behaving like a wife per se, but I wanted to know how to do that. I wanted to learn. That's all right. I didn't have the tools. Okay, even the folks around me didn't have the tools, and so I had to go outside of myself and reach for help outside of what was put in front of me, because that's just what I desired. And God knows the desires of my heart, and so He placed people in my life that I could reach out for help to, and get those tools that I needed. And so, while because I was raised by a strong, independent Black woman, which many of us are, and I knew things had to change, and I wanted to have my kids grow up differently, and so I had to set out on this journey, still constantly, of doing things differently.
And that's the key. And I like what you say, reaching out. You said that last week, that we have to learn how to reach out for the help that's necessary, because we don't know everything. And then we come to the point into that realization that we don't quite know everything, and then we haven't quite gotten it right. We should reach out for that help.
Yeah.
In
absolutely.
order to be able to be guided properly. And like I said in my book, that and it speaks volumes to what Troy said, that many of us didn't have that father to teach us how to treat a woman, how to take care of a household, how to be a protector, how to be a provider. And that was left up to a lot of our women out there to take charge of that particular role that men have abandoned, and they were left with the responsibility of teaching that young man child how to be a protector, how to be a provider, how to be nurturing, how to be equitable, and things like that.
The foundation, yeah.
Yeah, it's the foundation. So when we bring that back with having just discussions like this, we can work on teaching our young women how to work towards being a wife rather than just, a plaything. Our men to become kings and husbands rather than being someone who's out there trying to dominate every, vagina he can. And that's an important thing. So now I think I was speaking to somebody online, and I was telling them, because they was telling that they have a lot of children. So I put online a post. I think you might have seen it, Tracy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children, and he still hasn't married you yet. Whose fault is that? Is it his fault, or is it her fault for accepting that? And as long as you let this man play house with you, he gonna continue to play house with you. Now, if you be assertive and let him know what your desires are, and what we were talking about earlier about communication, I think we can change that dynamic. What you think?
Yeah, we know the P has the power. We know that it runs the world. We know it started wars and it's ended wars.
So, yeah, that's some good stuff right there. That's better than Shannon's apples.
I heard once that, we're the millennials are raising our daughters to be single moms once again.
Oh, come on,
and those types of things scare me to hear, and so I have to really hone in and teach my daughters to grow up as wives. And we know that there's like the Nation of Islam, there are people out there who are doing the work to raise their daughters up to be wives, homemakers, whatever you may have. And homemakers is not a bad thing. We put in our heads nowadays that being a stay-at-home mom or a homemaker is a negative thing.
Yes, talk about that.
But when we have to struggle and go to work day in and day out, and we worrying about getting to the bag, and we're sending our kids off to these different people, these different institutions, and we're not spending that time with them, who's raising our kids at the end of the day? We know that it's not really us raising them at the end of the day.
And Troy, you said earlier something about we have to be the example, and sometimes our households are full of the wrong examples, and it leads back into what you said, Tracy, where a lot of single women, because they're remaining single, are teaching their young girls the resilience, the negative resiliency of being a single mom.
That independent attitude.
Yeah, that independent attitude, as if I don't need, which we need each other. Humans need human contact in general. That's why you got so many people out there with fears of being lonely. Some women will just chill with a guy because she afraid to or don't want to go to bed by herself. So she just rather have Donald do nothing, who just laying the pipe real good and ain't doing nothing else besides that, and she happy with that. I mean, what you think about that?
As far as the women, see, when you have as far as women, when they have little girls, right? We have little girls. We got 2 little girls, beautiful little girls.
Come on, bro.
We see them playing with dolls and Barbies, and they pushing strollers through the house, and you have to make a decision. Okay, I have to raise them to be married and not just say, okay, this is my baby, and have a family.
my baby, my
but
house.
as far as the example, that's the example we set. They see daddy there.
Yes.
They see daddy and mommy's interaction.
Yes.
So growing up, they grow up in it, and they know this is what it's supposed to be. This is the standard.
Oh yes.
This is
The
what that's
standard.
that's what the example
Yes.
is.
You setting the standard, just like the Bible says, set a standard.
Right. That's what the example is. And just keeping the family intact. There's so many things that attack the family today.
Name a few of them.
Oh man. Social service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Section
Welfare,
8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're saying how does that destroy or affect the family?
It separates the family.
Okay.
It separates the family. It keeps the family separated. It incentivizes
Singleness.
single parent.
Okay. All right.
It gives the mother or the father
Gives him
and-
incentive to
and-
stay
yeah,
the hell
and-
away
and
and gives her
incentive-
incentives.
Yeah,
Okay. To keep
yeah.
him the hell away.
right. So
Mm.
it separates. So instead of having that separation, y'all stick together and work it out.
Right.
Work it out. It's hard, but it's hard raising a kid on your own,
Come on, somebody.
Yeah, we
Male
could've-
or female.
male or female. It's a lot of single dads out there too, and it's hard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's what people don't talk about.
Yes, sir. So let's do that, because even in my book, I'm very equitable. I talk about men and women. So Troy, introduce those plights that can happen to us single fathers. Were you a single father before you met Tracy?
At some point, for
Okay.
a short time. yeah.
Okay. Talk about that.
And it was I was young too.
Okay.
So I was going through a rift with my son's mother.
Okay.
And I took possession of the kid, and it was rough, man. It was rough because when you don't have that other parent around to
Yes, sir.
co-parent and really work things out, it's
Right.
hard. So
Right.
I can only imagine a woman raising these kids, multiple
Yes, sir.
kids,
Yes.
with no help,
No help.
and they have to go to work. They have to find a babysitter.
Yes.
It's hard,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. It's insane.
It's
It's insane to push.
You experienced all of that difficulty.
Yeah, you got to leave a
Yes.
kid with someone else, and you
Yeah.
got to figure it out.
Me too.
It's not easy, So it's insane to push the other parent away.
Yes. Insane. And you
It's
ask
crazy.
yourself, and why would you even want to do that? And a lot of women, unfortunately, weaponize the child.
Yeah, every day.
Let's talk about that.
Every day. I've been a victim of that. I've seen that. I know people who went through the same thing. It's unfortunate coming up in let's say the hood or inner city.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about the welfare, all of the programs that push the men out
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and incentivize the women to stay on these programs,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it destroys the family, man. It
does.
destroys it.
It does.
Most
I agree
definitely
with
the
it. What
kid.
you got to say about that, Trace?
From a woman's perspective, it's just that stubbornness in us. It's just very stubborn, very headstrong, that independent mentality of, I'm gonna just put them on child support or, whatever hurt that was caused, you want to hold a grudge and it's games. It's just games, all for you to end up. You still want love, and so you go out into the world with the same problems, same issues, just giving it to every man that gives you the time of day. Meanwhile, your child is suffering. Whether you see it now or see it later on, whether it's in a big way or a small way, whether they went to college or didn't go, we try to justify ourselves, with saying things like, oh, my child came out fine, right? On the surface, but how much better would they have come out if we just let go. Just let go and surrender and
Come on.
and believe and trust and give it to a higher power.
Yes.
And yes, we know that it takes two, but sometimes, ladies, we gotta.
Zip
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it ain't negative. Is that
It's
negative?
not. It's not. It's really not, because really that's why we still here.
Come on,
and I'm
somebody.
not even lying. Like we could, not to say we didn't have to be together, but there was times where we could have really stayed separated.
Right.
And did the whole co-parenting and things like
Right.
that. But
What kept you?
I had to be quiet and swallow it and tell myself, be quiet. And understand that he speaks a different language than I do.
Ooh,
he's a man. He's
Balance.
9 years older. He
Balance.
was raised in a different time, in a different neighborhood. He's from California, out in Mississippi to Las Vegas, and all of these different things, and we're meshing these two worlds together. And this is the bed that I decided to lay in, and so I want to leave at the end of the day saying I truly gave it my best.
Yes.
I really did give it my best, and I'm happy with that.
Tracy, you got a whole cheering squad up here. They are just telling you, yes, girl, yes. Talking about vulnerability, saying that you're telling the truth. Chris even said it's hard. Oh my God, I'm so thankful for my babe. Because I would cry for my daughter, she says, and that's deep. And Chrissy, thank you for being vulnerable like that and sharing that with us. Because look, the bottom line is that we were put here for each other. You made the child together. Learn how to find the balance within it to stay together. And if you can't find that balance, go ahead and part peacefully and amicably where you're still putting your efforts into that child. But my God, find a way to try to be together. But the thing is that all this smashing and dashing relationship is leading to children being born in homes of people whose mindset is not family generation oriented. You know what I'm saying? And we are going to come back, y'all. We're going to go on a short break. I want to thank again my guests, Tracy Jasper and Troy, the Bitch Trap. And we're coming right back after these short announcements and breaks in the whole nine. So please stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. We are coming back to a second half where Troy, the Bitch Trap, is going to talk about his amazing business. But we're having fun. And I'm liking the responses, y'all. So, hey, stay tuned.
Potato sugar.
Yes.
Django isn't a slave. Django is a free man, you understand? You can't treat him like any of the other niggas around here, because he ain't like any of the other niggas around here. You got it?
Yearning for your validation.
Validation.
All in hopes I'm in the conversation.
All in hopes.
Pour so much of me into you. Can't believe I ain't never feel for me instead of you. I slide in the coupe. I lose the roof. I die for the truth. Fired by no rules. The devils in cahoots. Drop a prayer on the screw.
One time.
Got God on my side. How can I ever lose still? I wanna be humble, but I gotta flex. On them niggas. I don't wanna mumble, but I need respect.
Respect me, nigga.
I do it my way. They say it's left. If I sell my soul, what I got left? Because I don't need nobody else. I'm lying to myself. Not talking physical, dog, the spiritual and health. All these opportunities is higher, I can tell. Gotta get them in them stairs, cause the timing never fails. My advice, keep moving. If not, you can lose it. Wasting time on the clueless. Knowing they can never do this. Back. Tell them pessimists they need to spine. Whack when they're paralyzed in the mind. I don't need nobody else.
No, I don't.
Tell my younger self.
What you say?
You got God as your help. Just let it go and never dwell.
My advice.
Unless they good at you. My advice. Look in the mirror, tell the truth. My advice. Sometimes you gotta break the rules. My advice. Stand for something or die for nothing.
My advice.
Flex on them if they hating on you. I would tell my younger self. Yeah. You should never go and let.
Ready when you are.
Yeah.
How's that music in the background?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you. Hey! Thank y'all so much for tuning in on that first half of Malik's Truth. We were getting deep into this, y'all. I mean, my guest is on point tonight. I mean, they got some things on their heart. some things in their lives that they're trying to espouse to you guys. So I want y'all to continue to listen in. So thank you once again. You could be anywhere else on this second half, but you did us gracious by sticking in there with us to hear some more. Now, on our break, we were talking briefly about weaponizing the child. So if there's any men out there who have experienced their woman or their child's mother weaponizing the child, go ahead and speak out. Let's talk about this, because Troy wants to talk about this just a little bit more. Troy, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like, we have to do better as people, as people.
No gender.
As people.
Come on.
This is a child who was created by two people. And to use a child and to take possession of a child as if you made the child on your own is completely wrong. Now, that child needs both parents.
Yes, sir.
No matter what you feel about the parent, that child needs both parents.
Yes,
that
sir.
child is innocent in the situation.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's either you go back and forth to court when you're in that situation,
Yes, sir.
or you fall back and say, you know what, I'm gonna wait on this person to grow up. Let God kind of handle it.
Yes, sir.
Because from a man's perspective, you don't want to take the kid away from the mother,
Yes, sir.
because that mother is the nurturer.
Yes,
That
sir.
mother, they have that attachment. You
Yes,
really
sir.
don't want to do it.
Absolutely.
Men really don't want to do it.
But if it needs to be done.
right, if you have to, then you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes, sir.
And it's unfortunate that it even has to get to that point.
Yeah,
With
it
two
is.
adults. Two adults should work that out and make sure that it never gets to that point. But only reason I'm speaking on it because I've been through that, and I'm
Right.
still going through that with one of my kids.
Okay.
So, it affects me every day.
And you have friends. and
Yeah,
family
yeah,
members
I
who
got-
are going through the same thing.
Yeah,
too.
And then you got people all in your ear trying to give you this type of advice and that type of advice, and you just letting them know, I'm gonna let God handle this. I like the way you said that. I'm gonna let the maturation set in.
I mean, you would hope
You
one
would
day.
hope, yeah. And
You
Chrissy
would
is
hope.
talking about it. She like my boy's dad does exactly what we're talking about. So we see that men are guilty of the same crime.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
That's why I said people.
People.
We gotta do better as people.
We got to do better as people, Chrissy. That's why he said that.
My dad, he I remember him distinctively just coming out of the blue one year and knocking at the door, and this was the first time I actually believed there was a God, because I've been praying for him to come, and there he was out of the blue, right? So that was my
Yes.
first. Anyways, my mom had every right to be like, what? How you just gonna come out of the blue and,
Right.
and want to take your kids where
Right.
and do what for what? Give me some money. Like she could have did all of that, but instead
me
she was
some
like,
money.
go and pack. Let me help you pack you a bag.
Right.
You going with your dad, right? Here we are, a week later or so. And they get into an argument right in front of us, and he slams the car door, and she's like, "Don't slam my car door." And when my mom curses, like, "Oh, it's a big deal," because she doesn't curse.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, "Uh-oh, we probably won't be seeing him again," right? And the next day, she sent us back with him because
Wow.
she understands, like, we need that.
All right.
We need that, period. And so it's something about our generation, about this generation, where really the women are so headstrong and so tied up in this feminist movement that they really believe that they're better off
Without a man.
without the child's father. No, because they still running behind men.
Okay.
It's
See,
just
I like that distinction. They still running behind
They still
men.
But even if you're running behind men and you have a child, especially
sir.
a boy,
Yes, sir.
give that child a man in the home, even if it's not his father.
Right. A good one that
A
exemplifies.
man. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Don't just have a kid there sitting around looking crazy
Right.
and you keeping them away from the daddy. It don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. At least give him some
Give
type
him
of male
some kind of
figure,
example.
Yeah,
some kind of
that's
male
true.
model.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I like to tell women a lot. If you don't have that ability to choose properly, go to your brother, go to your uncle, somebody that's going to teach that male child the course.
Takes a village, yeah.
It takes a village. And the bottom line is the same thing with women. Women, if you don't have the resiliency to choose properly a man in your life. I remember Minister Louis Farrakhan said it takes a no good man to make a no good woman, because women are born with that purity. And most of the times when any woman is screwed up, it's due to a man. It's due to a man. So then you get these women who have these men with these ulterior motives. They really want your child, but they're gonna get that child through being with you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Wow.
you see what I'm saying?
That's
So now
deep.
they inviting the wrong type of man around,
Right.
and some of these men are even molesting the boys.
Right. Yeah. See, yeah, that's another thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you gotta watch out for that.
with the proper teachings, it teaches our women how to choose the right man based off of the quality of life that you want for the overall family. Not just you, not your children, but for all of y'all.
Absolutely.
How to protect them from predators, because these predators, they are slick, they're sly, they come in just like that movie that Tyler Perry did. You know,
Yeah.
what was that? Women Thou Art Loose?
Okay, yes. Woman out there loose, yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So these men are slick, so we got to really, really teach these women how to be better choosers, and teach these men how to be better choosers of women, because some men out there are single parents, and they're bringing these not so, not so well taught women around their young girls and their young boys, and that's also confusing them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I believe selecting a partner has been removed from
The selection
our
process.
community.
Selection
We don't select
properly. We select.
A lot of times we get selected.
I selected you, didn't I?
We do.
I'm
We do
not
get
talking-
selected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's no vetting.
Right. Right,
No
true.
really. You're not really looking
Right.
into these people.
And that's why I talk about my book. I don't think you guys gotten there yet, but I talk about my book, and it's a part of my book that talks about the discovery process. Everybody has something underneath that iceberg, and it's up to us to work at discovering those things, because a lot of people like to say, when they get married or they get deep into a relationship, oh, they changed. No, they ain't changed. You just didn't find that person. You didn't take enough time to find that part of that person. So they ain't changed. They been that person. You see what I'm saying? So, and what I like about what you guys exemplify is that even though I know y'all have y'all problems, do I know what y'all problems are? No. But we know that people in general have problems in relationships? Yeah, they do. How can you encourage the folks out there to learn how to get through those not so perfect moments, man? Where this is the time where people usually jump ship.
Yeah, like you said, knowing those, identifying those underlying, those triggers, but just identify them. Don't live in them. Realize you can make a choice like that the author mentioned in the book. You have a choice here and now. You don't have to live there. You can move forward. And also, I mentioned reaching out for help. Also, I think I talked about it earlier. What do you want?
Right.
What do you want? And then you have to act accordingly. There was ways I was behaving in ways like, okay, you say you want this, but you're not acting that way. It got to line up. Things have to line up and be consistent. And it sounds simple, right? But when you don't come from it,
Right.
You just have to mature and learn it, and luckily I have a great partner, Troy, who has been patient with me, and I had to ask him one day, I'm like, please just be patient with me, okay?
That's all right.
I'm gonna get it, I want it, I hear you, I understand. Right. Just thug it out with me, thug it out.
And Troy, we still have some time if you'd like to get into the business that you provide and the services that you provide. You want to get into that?
Yeah, sure. But what I kind of want to touch on what you just mentioned, like getting through the rough time.
Okay, go ahead.
You like you say, you have to be in it, and you have to be patient. and really love that person. And you have mess up before you have kids. Make the mistakes before you have kids.
If you can.
If
it happens, if the
to
opportunity
all the
presents
young
itself.
people out there,
Which it always does. You got to
mess
see it.
up before you have kids, and once you have kids and you get to messing around and messing up,
Right.
it just makes it harder on everybody.
Yes.
But what I do, I just started a YouTube channel, people. It's called The Biz Trap, where I speak to business owners and provide a platform and capture the story behind the brand. So you can talk about your brand, your products, who you are, how you started, and just give some insight on yourself. And I started it because I noticed that a lot of people were starting businesses and providing products and services, but a lot of times we just see the product, we see the service, we don't really know what's behind it.
Right.
So I wanted to create something to where we get the story behind it, to kind of bring a more personal feel to the business. So
I'm gonna have
the
to
Biz
call
Trap
on
on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to call on you. So we're about to run out of time. So Tinkerbird Apparel, give him a little bit.
Tinkerbird is a girls' apparel and accessories brand offering something new, something special, something cute for girls. From the playground to a day around town, your girly girl or not so girly girl will feel empowered by her uniqueness. If you visit Tinkerbird.com to shop today, use code Malik to get 10% off your
Still
order.
worth 10%. Thank you.
Tinkerbird.com.
Yes, sir.
Tinkerbird.com.
Where can they find the Biz Trap?
The Biz Trap on YouTube. DABIZTRAP. It's a new
Thank
channel. Subscribe. Check my videos out and like it.
I'm gonna be calling on you though, cause there's a story behind my praise too, and
we could definitely sit down and talk about it.
For sure. And as you guys know me, I am Malik Truth. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening's show. As always, you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to hang out with us this evening. And we love you and we appreciate you. If you haven't picked up my book yet, The Design, Date, and Purpose, go out and get it. It is changing lives across the country, even in Canada and India. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with us tonight. God bless.
Yeah. It's a little different this time. Yeah. I'm coming live in the nighttime. I'm bruising down in the state 9 to 5. I'm going buck 5. Hope I don't see them cop lights. I'm in the fast lane. Yeah, he told me about no warning signs. And I'm tryna live fast, die young. We ain't got time. We do it part time. The benefits don't benefit. It ain't full time. More than 40 every week, putting overtime. I'm clocking 7 days a week till I'm prime time. That ain't enough time for the short time. Says I'm trying to see a million by the summertime. Before it's fall time, and they forget mine. Cold world without my pockets warming when the shivering. Foot on the gas pedal, leave it stuck in drive. Never slowing down, had to cut the brake lines. Jesus take the wheel, I'ma steal when I decide. That's just free will, we don't trust him all the time. When we should, but I don't mean to preach. When your hands upon the wheel, who you tryna be? Extend your hand out, tell me who you tryna reach. Yourself like you out playing hide and seek. Still I'm cruising for a chase. Knowing that my family is not safe. They not safe unless we keep a bag in the safe. It ain't safe. No, it ain't safe.